Am I the jerk for wanting commission from my dad? I have another full-time professional career, but I paid thousands of dollars for ongoing training and licenses to also become a real estate agent on the side because my dad wants my mom and me to sell houses he builds. My mom also got her license just for this. He has had bad experiences with pretty much all his previous realtors. His house building business went under during the 2008 crash, so he has been doing other jobs for the past decade. However, he wanted to get back into the building business because it is what he loves, and he is great at it, especially the designing part. He has a great way of building a house so that every part of it is functional and flows well. He truly makes a beautiful and cost-effective product. We have already built and sold one house, and he found the lot for that one on his own. He asked me to find more lots to build on. I believe I have currently paid more towards my real estate license than I have earned in commission. I split the commission half with my broker and then half of that half with my mom. I was happy to run an ML search and found multiple lots. I offered to go out and look at them with him and the rest of my family, vocalizing that I want to earn some more commission. Instead, he went out to the lots himself and negotiated to buy a few that are in a really good location. He did not even tell me he was going to do this until an hour before meeting with the seller. At that point, he called me asking me to do a county auditor search to find what information I could about previous transfers and values of the lots. I did the search and sent him the information within the hour so he could have the information he needed for the negotiation. I asked how much commission I would be getting on the lot sale, and he said he would pay me for the sale of the house, which I would split with my broker and mom, but not on the sale of the empty lot he is going to build on. I feel like if anyone else did this to me, I would never want to speak with them again, much less do business with them and promote their product. My parents would mock my grandpa for being selfish and saying things like, "If you cannot screw over family, who can you screw over?" They would say he is so immoral for how he treats family, and now I feel the same way about them. My dad acts like I am just being greedy because he negotiated directly with the seller, and I will be selling the end product anyway, but I cannot help feeling like I have been taken advantage of. What do you think? Am I being greedy? Am I the asshole? You did nothing improper. Your license got him the leads, and he's definitely using you. If he won't pay you, he can hire someone else. Just stop helping him until he starts compensating you properly. Am I the jerk? I notified someone they were blocking the view and they called me a jerk. I, a 52-year-old female, went to a professional soccer game with my 57-year-old male spouse and my 54-year-old male cousin. We have season tickets and bought great seats right on the midline, about halfway up from the field. My husband went to get a snack, and there was a foul inside the box, which meant our team got a penalty kick close to the goal. These are a big deal because the kicking team almost always scores, and we were tied at that point. Another season ticket holder, whose seats were slightly down and diagonal from ours, stood up to watch the penalty kick. Normally, this is not a big deal. People stand up sometimes to celebrate a goal, go to the restroom, or yell at the referee. However, nobody else was standing, and he was blocking the view of several people. I leaned forward and said, "Sir, we can't see." He didn't respond, so I repeated myself a little louder. He finally turned around and said, "It's a sporting event. People are going to stand up. You can stand too," and turned back around. I didn't stand up because I am taller than average, and there were people sitting behind me whose view I didn't want to block. The couple directly in front of us is older and has been friends of ours for years. The man had a stroke and uses a cane, a leg brace, and has a service dog. He can't stand up very easily, so I felt insulted on his behalf, but I chalked it up to the other guy being rude and craned around him to watch the penalty kick. After the set piece, everyone sat down and we continued watching the game. But the other guy turned around and caught my eye. He asked, "Should I stand up for the rest of the game?" I didn't know what to say to that. I had moved on. Then he said, "You're being kind of an asshole." My cousin intervened at that point, telling the guy he's probably had enough beer and he needs to be quiet before my husband gets back. That was the end of it, but the guy kept peeking back at us until my husband returned. Was it inappropriate to inform the guy that he was blocking the line of sight? People do this all the time when they are trying to find their seats or get distracted on the way down the stairs and block the line of sight. So we all just got used to telling people they are blocking the game. Too long, didn't read, told a guy he was blocking the game, and he not only told me to deal with it but called me an asshole. You are not the one to blame. The guy was definitely being a jerk for ignoring everyone's view and making a big deal out of it. People usually only stand if someone is blocking their view or for a quick celebration. The cousin stepping in was just trying to prevent things from escalating further, which was the right call. Am I the jerk for being honest with my friends about my relationship? My girlfriend, 23 years old, and I, also 23 years old, have been together for 5 years and friends for even longer than that. I really do love her, and I'm in the process of proposing now. She wants to get married, and I want that too. I know she's the person I'm meant to be with. I really think we're soulmates and we were meant to find each other, and she says that all the time. I know if we broke up, I wouldn't date again. I don't say that because I'm pressuring her to be in a relationship. I just genuinely don't feel like it will happen. But she is of course fine to leave me anyway. We only have one problem. When we met, I didn't want children because I was forced into looking after my sister. I love her more than anything, but I couldn't see myself doing that. My girlfriend was unsure but leaning towards nobody. Over the years, I've changed my mind. I love children. I find them so silly, and I realized it would be a privilege to have a child of my own. I don't know what flipped, but I tried to picture my life without children, and it made me sad. It was just like I realized one day that the desire was there. I had a conversation with my girlfriend about it to see where she was at. This time she was certain she didn't want children. She said she's gotten more sure of that idea over the years. She just feels like children are too much effort, and she doesn't feel mentally equipped to handle it. She said she just wants to have fun, and this isn't something she can compromise on, but she loves me more than anything. I told her that I'd still propose and I'd give up on having children. I should have her, and that's what would really matter. She asked if I was sure and I said yes, and she was like, okay, thank God. The issue is I texted my friends all of this later. I told them about the conversations and the outcome. I told them that I'd give up on children, but I mentioned that I was scared, really scared that I would regret it. I said I wish I could see the future and know that I won't. But it's scary, the unknown. My friends reassured me, but were also concerned that we were divided on this topic. I went to bed and woke up to my girlfriend upset. She said she read the conversation on my laptop because she saw her name, and she was crying that I was worried that I'd regret her. She says she feels sick to her stomach that I'd regret marrying her. I tried to console her, but she locked herself in her room and has barely spoken. She's just crying. I asked if she was okay, and she said she feels sick, that I might want children more than her. I told her that wasn't true, but she doesn't listen. Am I the asshole here? You behaved properly. Having kids is a big part of relationships, and both parties need to be on the same page. If not, one person will always be sad about it. Your girlfriend had no business looking through your texts, but you should consider discussing your feelings about wanting kids with her directly or with a therapist. Am I the jerk for calling my friend a jerk during movie night? I'm in a friend group that gets along for the most part and hangs out a lot, but one girl specifically kind of hates me, and I don't know why. Normally, I just ignore her mean comments or laugh them off like she's joking, even though her serious and angry tone means that she's not. We have movie nights a lot in my friend group. Something happened this time around that just made me lose it, and I am wondering if I went too far. We were finishing up a movie series we had been watching. Everyone was talking through it because most of us had seen it before. The girl this is about had seen it plenty of times. I was one of the only two people who hadn't seen it, and I was pretty lost. I asked a question, and she got mad, telling me I would have understood if I was paying attention. Even though everyone else was talking too, I ignored it, and another friend answered my question. It happened a few more times because I can't hear great, and it's easy to miss stuff. I made a joke at one point, making fun of the movie for not explaining something, and she turned to me and said, in a really angry tone, "If you just shut up and watch the movie, you'd understand." I asked her why she's being such a jerk, and two of my other friends turned to me and said, "No one's being a jerk, calm down," like she wasn't being mean to me in front of all of them. I stayed quiet for the rest of the movie but made fun of what I think is a kind of dumb scene towards the end, under my breath, not meaning for her to hear. She turned to me and whispered, "If you don't like it, then leave." So I did, but while I was waiting for my ride, another person made the same joke I did, and she didn't say anything while everyone laughed at the joke. I got mad. I asked why she's such a jerk to me specifically. She didn't say anything, but my other friends got really mad on her behalf. I am wondering if maybe I did something to make her mad. Maybe you guys will notice something in my story that will explain it or something. I'm happy to give specifics in the comments if anyone wants them. You are not at fault here. These aren't the kind of friends you want at all. Why defend someone who's clearly the jerk? You have to let them know how you felt. This stuff will keep happening, and you will feel more and more isolated. They acted in an unfair manner, and you will regret it down the road if you don't say anything. Am I the jerk for not washing my partner's clothes unless they are put in the laundry basket? I, a 29-year-old female, have been with my boyfriend, a 31-year-old male, for 3 years, living together for 2. When we first started living together, we both were really struggling mentally and physically. We both were working jobs that took advantage of us and drained us, and we both have chronic health and pain issues. We live somewhere where rent is extremely high. Recently, I've gone on a mostly paid leave of absence from work while I get my health under control. A leave is not viable for him and his job. We still split bills evenly. He takes care of cooking dinner and grocery shopping, and I do everything else. He used to be in charge of cleaning the kitchen, but he was doing a very poor job. I eventually told him that since I was not working, I would do all the cleaning in the house, as well as the laundry. However, I expected him to not leave petty messes, as he has a habit of doing, such as leaving his dirty clothes on the floor, leaving wrappers and empty containers on the counter instead of putting them in the recycling or garbage, and not cleaning up any spills he makes. I was hoping this would lead to us having a cleaner space, take some of the load off of him since I can tell he is struggling, and prevent me from becoming resentful. But he is still making constant petty messes. I was constantly reminding him to clean up after himself, and he was annoyed every time. We had a huge blow-up fight about it, where he says he feels he is being judged, and my expectations are unreasonable. I told him I am not judging him for having messy habits. I am upset that he is unwilling to try and change those habits. I promised myself I would never be one of those women who is a mommy or maid for their partner, and that is how I feel constantly following him around and picking up after him. We had a really good talk a couple of days ago, and in some ways I can see he is trying, though there are still many petty messes. Yesterday, he asked me to do 3 loads of his laundry that were in his rearwear basket, expressing that he has almost no clothes left. We have a big basket that is always for dirty laundry, and the reason why none of his clothes have been washed is because he had not been putting his clothes in there. I started the loads. Today I went to do the laundry in the dirty laundry bin, and he has several clothing items that he has just put on top of the laundry basket instead of taking the time to lift the lid and put them inside. This is really annoying for me because this is exactly what I have been telling him I need him to do, and then he says it is too much for him, and I retort that he can lift a lid. Would I be the bad person if I leave those clothes there and do not wash them until he puts them inside the bin? I feel like I am losing my mind. He will definitely tell me I am being petty, but I feel like he will not learn until there are tangible consequences. You are not the bad guy in this situation, but stop cleaning up after him because he's a grown man. He should be able to handle his own tasks like laundry, just like he would if he lived alone. You are not his maid nor his mother, and it's time he started acting like an adult. If he's not willing to change, then you need to decide whether to deal with it or leave. Am I the jerk for refusing to do a favor help my brother with an element of their wedding, which I already said I won't be attending? My brother is marrying someone who made my life hell throughout our entire teenage years. She started bullying me at age 12 and continued into college. Unfortunately, we attended the same college. She was around 20 years old before she stopped bullying me. She went out of her way to bully me in college, almost stalking me over it. She almost got expelled from college, which might have been what stopped her in the end. I was able to avoid her for the rest of college and did not see her again for a few more years. My brother is a year older and knew all about the torment she caused me, as did our parents. When he brought her home as his girlfriend a couple of years ago, I was deeply hurt. My sister asked him what he was thinking and how he could do that to me. He said she had grown up and that we should be willing to give her a chance. I walked out. My parents and brother were upset at my refusal to give her a chance and asked why I wanted to hurt our family. My sister walked out after calling this girl all sorts of names and making it clear she saw her as trash and someone who could not be a good person. She also called our brother out for having no family loyalty and said his genitalia was clearly all he really cared about. My relationship with my brother and parents hardly exists now. I have seen them 4 times since that day. They have reached out via phone, but I made it clear I had no desire to mend things with that girl. I saw it as a betrayal to accept her and expect me to treat her as family. My sister has stood by me. She is also mostly estranged from our parents and brother. The last time I saw them was in June at a family birthday party. During a quiet moment, my brother told me he was getting married and our parents were standing by to jump in. I told him to save himself the money inviting me because I would not be attending and walked away. The issue comes in here. The most popular local florist is my best friend's mother. She is known to have a special package for friends and family for weddings. One piece in particular she only does for people she is close to. My brother and his fiancée want her to be the florist for their wedding, and they want the bonuses of the special package. However, they do not have a good relationship with her. I do. My brother called me, but I ignored his call. He then sent a text asking me to do a favor and ask about the special package for them. I said no and told him to leave me alone. He reached out again and asked. My parents then got involved. I told them I wanted nothing to do with this wedding and would never help make the day special for them. I was told I had taken all of this too far and that a small favor should not be such a big deal. They said I was destroying these relationships and would one day regret it over something so small. Am I the asshole? You did nothing wrong here. It is not a small favor to ask you to use your influence and good reputation to gain special consideration they wouldn't otherwise be entitled to. And that's even without the fact that you have pretty good reasons to refuse to do even small favors for him. You deserve support, and it is totally possible to support you and your brother in separate ways without a guilt trip or some emotional manipulation. If this sheds your brother in a worse light to the florist, it would be a real shame if she decided she couldn't do the flowers for their wedding at all. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.